Hello, welcome everyone. This is going to be a messy stream today. My name is Josh Foreman and I do messy streams. Sorry, I'm temporarily blinded. I was outside in the sunlight squashing some clay. We'll get to why I'm squashing clay in a little bit. But first I want to talk about what I've been experimenting with here. That's what all this mess is for. Great stuff. Have you heard of it? It's this, you use it in construction, and apparently you can also use it for floral foam filler. That's exciting. I'm trying to see what I can cast these things in. These things being the stuff I've been working on for the past little while, like these rock tiles that I've carved and sculpted. Because they are so volumerific, they're like an inch thick. Casting them in regular resin would be incredibly expensive. Even casting them in plaster would be heavy and annoying. And ultimately, I would love to have something that has a little bit of flex to it so that you could like wrap it around things. So anyway, I was experimenting with this. So I have several different materials, mold making materials that I've been using lately. This is Mold Max 30, this pink stuff. This is Sorta Clear. I don't remember what. It's just called Sorta Clear. Like that's literally its name, Sorta Clear. This is a, what is this stuff called? Something like Miracle Squash or something like that. What is this one? I don't remember what this one is. But anyway, the point is I was putting a variety of these different expanding construction foams on all of the turn this down a bit. I was putting it on all of the mold making material I have just as compatibility tests, basically, to see like, okay, is this going to cause problems? And one of the things that I'm seeing, like even putting it on this really flat surface, is that there are little divots and gaps across the surface. So it doesn't cast perfectly smooth, which will be a problem for some kind of textures and not so much for others. This stuff is called, this is a Loctite, different brand, tight foam for big gaps. And this one looks like it has less of that problem. That's good to know. I think this was the maximum filling one, and this is the less maximum one. Doesn't that look like a delicious little pancake? I do not recommend eating it. But another thing I wanted to see is like how flexible are they, and how flexible are they over time? Because I think they do kind of get more rigid over time. So also how paintable are they? These are all things I will be exploring. It might be worth marking these while I remember. So this is great stuff. Big gap. Okay, this is great stuff. Gaps and cracks. Okay, and this Loctite. Yeah, you're bad at spelling. Tight foam, big gaps. Okay. So compatible with this kind of stuff, as far as I can tell. I left it overnight. I didn't want to take it out too early, just in case it's one of those things where it might have a reaction later on. I could have left it in even longer, probably would have been safer. But it's fine for now. Let's see, what is this one? Oh, yes. This is mold star, mold, whatever. It's the brush on one. And so I put a board over this and a bunch of weight on it to see how well it would fill in. Looks like a delicious potato salad. Also, do not eat. And if we look close, we can see there's definitely areas where it didn't quite fill in. I'm not sure what's going on there, if that's actually a problem in the texture. Yeah, definitely voids. You know, in this particular application, these kind of voids are not a big deal. But if I was doing something that was more, you know, designed and less just a bunch of pile of rocks, it would become a problem. Now it's got some flexibility. That's nice. But again, it has it now. This is less than 24 hours after it's been cast. We're going to come back to it later. So I believe this was just gaps and cracks. Great. Gaps and cracks. Let's check out our sort of clear mold. Not bad. I wrote on there that I was using gaps and cracks. I'll have to paint it to get a good idea of how it ended up, but again, for rough, weathered stone, I think that's fine. I like how that just peeled off there. In fact, why not just throw some paint on there real quick, see what happens. After all, why shouldn't I keep it? Spray primer probably would have made more sense for this, but whatever. Yeah, not too bad, right? Speaking of which, let's see how this accepts paint. Sometimes there's a difference between the area where it naturally expands and area where it like came into contact with the mold. So. Next up, and this is the one I'm really hoping works because this is what I have the most of. There was some paint on the lid. This was an old, lid I was reusing as a paint tray, and it's interesting that it adhered to the, and it looks like it may have actually retarded the setting of the. I think this is gaps and cracks too. Did I not write it on here? For those of you who have been watching me for a while, you will know that this was a pillar used in a previous diorama that I sculpted right here on this stream. I don't know, was that a year ago maybe? Okay. So yeah, not a lot of structural integrity there, but that's to be expected, I think. But yeah, it's maintaining quite a lot of the detail. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna spray paint these. Amazing mold putty. That's what this stuff is called. It also peels out of there just fine. This is another test just to see how it can do like little detailed bits and bobs. Interesting. It seems to have kind of bowed outwards. Not sure why it did that, but I guess it maybe because it could potentially be a problem for things, but something to keep an eye out for. Yeah, how does this? Does this just pop off? It does. Oh look, it keeps a date. It's like silly putty. All right, this is the Loctite stuff, big gap filler. Really curious how this is gonna turn out. I'm really surprised that it did not squeeze through that crack on the side there. interesting. Look at that. That is so nice and light. It's like styrofoam. Definitely picked up the details really well. It's hard for me to tell what is actual like corrosion in the texture that I made. This is going to be hard to see. I'll just take these out and spray paint them or prime them real quick right after this, and we can see them a little better. Now this one I couldn't find rubber bands. I only had these two, so I did not rubber band it well enough, and as a result it squashed out of there. Got some bad squashing. It's all kind of funnily distorted. But again, not too bad for this particular application. I have a little saw. Where's my little saw? Use a little saw. Boink. Since it's a ruined pillar anyway, I can hide this distortion by just ruining it more. Don't need to get too hung up on this. It is, after all, just a test. What about this one? Oh wow, this stuff cuts so much nicer. Like that, this might even be sandable. Is, I think, big gap. Great stuff. Big gap. Okay. Don't recall which one that was. Okay. Hiya, Hunt. It is indeed spray foam. I'm doing compatibility tests and just material tests in general to see how it works. I've used these 3 so far in these tests. And I've got 2 more to try today. But pretty promising results. Here's a bit of ruin that I just slapped some acrylic on. Okay. Let's go do some spray painting since it's such a nice day. Got the studio wall open. Some would refer to it as a garage door, but it's a studio wall. That is my very professional spray paint platform. I'm using Army Painter. Look at that beautiful day, you guys. Hashtag blessed. What a pretty day. The paint ate it up. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm experimenting with now to find out. Yes, I'm gonna leave it out there for a couple minutes, see if any eating occurs. Might be one of those things where using an acrylic primer is necessary, but we'll find out. Okay, so for these additional 2 that I want to try, let's see, can I reuse this cup? I probably can with some rubber bands. Yeah, that'll be fine. Again, for these tests, I don't really care if it's distorted and weird. Oh, the wind's blowing my my little pieces around. That should not be surprising. Need more rubber bands. Must have another pack of rubber bands somewhere, but Lord knows where. Really, the best thing to do would be to wrap a firm-ish piece of paper around it, but I ain't got time for that. You seen what time it is? I ain't got time for that. I'm not going to say ain't nobody got time for that, because I don't know the state of everyone else. Maybe someone does have time for it, but I'm not that person. Okay. Pest block. We're going to see how this is different. I was a little worried about this, but it does say it contains no pesticides, so I feel like it's probably exactly the same as their other great stuff. Look at that fun little smoke plume, by the way, that came out of that last night. It's probably identical. It's just like, well, it also happens to keep bugs out, so we'll mark it that way. But for all I know, maybe this is the perfect one. It's like flexible and paintable and doesn't have little bubbles in it. It's possible. Anything's possible. That's why I figured it was worth the like $4.50 or whatever this cost me as a test. Let me grab my little arts before they blow away. Alright, sorry about that. I just figured I might as well get the final paint on. It didn't look like it was eating through, so. Hey, Pindrake. How's it going? Welcome. Welcome to my mad scientist laboratory testing. Okay, I'm guessing this is just the same as everything else. Fills gaps up to 1 inch thick. Oh, interesting. 1 inch. Why only 1 inch? Water resistant, rigid, can be trimmed, sanded, painted. Okay. Oh, this is also a great stuff product. I didn't even notice that. Okay. Again, it's probably the same thing. Is it? It might actually be green though. Expands up to 1 inch. Oh no, I see. They use it to get the green blocks stabilized, whatever. Am I attacking rattle cans? Sort of attacking. I mean, I am kind of strangling them. And I don't know if these technically count as rattle cans. They don't actually have a little weight ball thing in them to rattle. They're more slosh cans, if anything. All right, so this says 1 inch, so I'm gonna go ahead and try it on this one. And no, this does not look like anything untoward. This is perfectly natural thing to be doing. Huh. What's going on here? Do the thing. There we go. I'm sorry to hear things aren't going great for you, by the way. I hope to get better. Okay. Green open. So this is no longer Loctite. This is now Pest Block. Great stuff. Pest Block. And this is great stuff. Floral foam. Let's see. Oh, it's gray. That's nice. One inch. Interesting. So these are both 1 inchers, as they say in the biz, as I just decided that they say in the biz. I'll put a little weight on this. Just so if it does expand, it can expand onto that. Same with this. These off to the side. The really annoying thing about these products is, like, once you've used them once, if you don't finish the whole can, they're usually wasted. But I still try my best to have them not be wasted. We'll see. All right, so check this out. Boom. We have spray primed onto this stuff. It seems to have done really well. Again, it definitely has, like, it adds more little bubbles and cracks and stuff in the surface, but for particular applications, that's not really a problem. And a lot of these are, like, a lot of this is grunge that I purposefully sculpted in, right? So yeah, I need to try it on something that's, like, really clean and pristine to get a good sense for it. But yeah, I mean, if you were walking by a wall and you saw that, you would probably think it was made out of rock and not realize it was made out of great stuff the whole time. Fooled you. I am definitely getting this this distinct over full roundness that is occurring on these. But that may just be the open backed ones. And again, it's hard to tell on the cylinders. What do I need to do? Maybe I need to like mold a cube, like a block, you know, just something, and see if it is truly distorted or not. But yeah, that's really interesting. Okay, that test is complete, and well, I wouldn't say it's complete. We still have to see how this holds up over time, but it does give me enough confidence to go ahead and make the mold out of the stuff that I have the most of, Mold Max 30. So I'm happy about that. Okay, and what do we have started here? We have, or I guess the more pertinent question is, where do we have? There it is, it's over there. This we're going to put off to the side. So these are the rocks that I was painting last week to do sort of the final check over them to see, are all the little nooks and crannies working? Are there places where it seems wrong or bad? And I made a few touch-ups and they're good to go now. So I'm going to try casting them all together. There it goes. Thank you for your contribution, Loud Truck. And because I want the seam to be halfway up, let's unblurify. I'm using this clean clay, which is an oil-based clay. Putting it around each of them. Oh, that reminds me, I could probably do this faster. Yeah, this guy. Just cut little strips of it. These should all have a relatively flat surface exactly halfway up. These are 1 inch thick, and so at the ½ inch mark, it should be straight and flat. You know, actually, if I cut these at a ½ inch, then the amount of like trimming afterwards would probably be reduced. I should think about that. there's at least 3 or 4 points of like the highest point of contact, so that when you put these down, they'll always be nice and stable. And so I'm adding clay in places to sort of backfill the parts that are way under that, which will make the wall less wobbly in theory. Try not to go ham with it, because after I do the first pour rubber over this first side here, I'm going to have to flip it over, pull that off, and then this side is going to be facing up, and I'm going to have to pull clay out of all that places, all the if they're stuck in nooks and crannies, that can get kind of annoying. But given, again, the fact that this is natural rock, it's not like it's going to be super apparent if there's places that aren't perfectly perfect. Yeah, I'm going to be making a mold, much like I did for this one. Oh, it's buried. I can't show you the other mold, but trust me, it's going to be mold-tastic. Actually, I haven't made a mold since I made those last ones. It's probably been over a year, so I'm probably going to have forgotten a bunch of stuff and mess up in a variety of ways. The price you pay for constantly mode switching. At least it's the price I pay. But hopefully we'll get to that point and you can watch me mess up in real time. is the downside to having the studio wall down. Unless you like truck noises. If you like truck noises, you're welcome. Now this piece can go. How did this go? You know what I failed to do? Just make sure this was set in the right way. Okay, I think it is. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I always need to make sure the half wall is going the right direction. I feel like it might be a little more efficient to just cut a bunch of strips first, then start applying them. Okay, so I put a bunch of this out in the sun to get nice and smooshy. Not quite melty, but smooshy. Look at that beautiful sheet. A neighbor was walking by while I was rolling pinning this stuff on the hood of my car. I can only imagine that they were very impressed and knew exactly what I was doing. Let's see, what's an easy way to do this? Use a straight edge, A. Then I can measure 1/4 inch, or no, 1/2 inch. Boop. And boop. Boop. Heather's crow friends are here. So this is thicker than I would like, but don't think that's a significant problem. Hey, there's a first time for everything. So, you know, things are starting to look up. Think of it that way. You've begun a new trajectory. Might as well do one more while I'm here. Yeah, foil is like super glue in that it like sticks to what it wants to, and what it wants to is almost never the thing you're hoping. wonder if actually applying this on a flat surface. One thing I need to be concerned about is when this is in its bed, how's it like that it sticks down to the surface. When I pour the rubber in, it doesn't, like, the air trapped under there doesn't cause it to pop up and float out. I can probably get away with a couple drops of hot glue, and then when I flip it over, peel the part off, I'll have to, pull it off. And again, with this stuff, it's all sort of like hand chiseled anyway, so it's super easy to clean up any areas where it might get messed up from that process. Itchy eye. birdie's got so much to say. Because these are, in theory, half an inch, if I lay this down, put this down, that should come up exactly to the half-inch mark. But it looks like it can be a little bit tapered depending on which way my hand wobbled while I was cutting it. So I can't really perfectly rely on that. That's too bad. You know, one thing that I probably could do that would be good is pre-fill in some of these gaps where the rubber is going to want to run under my thing. Oh, let's double check. Is this the right? Yes, right side up. Okay. Just make it a little less likely that rubber's going to fill in underneath the whole thing. That would be an awful waste of rubber. And silicone rubber is not cheap enough to cavalierly waste. I'm pretty excited right now. I'm doing a single task. Unless you count streaming. I don't know. Does streaming count as a task? Okay, so now if I squash this down, like so, I guess considering there are people who make a living just streaming, then it probably should count. Fine, I'm still multitasking then. There's one thing that I cannot multitask, and that is writing or editing. Editing words. I can multitask editing video, but not words. Like no music, no background stuff. Have to be 100% focused. Which is probably one of the reasons it takes so long for me to get my books out. Although that makes me wonder, what if I wanted to stream the final edit on my book, where I could just read the story and then people could critique as I go and help me find various errors of all kinds. That's an interesting thought. Not on here, of course. It's not a Reaper streamable thing, but just in general on my channel. I don't know if people would like that or not. If you knew of an author who streamed, you know, an author that you really liked, like say a Brandon Sanderson or Patrick Roth, this or whatever, right? And they did a live stream where they invited you to listen to them read their current manuscript and give real-time feedback. Would that be cool? I feel like that would be cool. Look at that. Popped up all nice and easy. It's always a minor miracle when something just happens easily. It's good to just stop and express your gratitude for that sort of thing. Actually, I wonder if it wouldn't be a bad idea to just kind of fill in with extra globs of clay. You know, I don't have to pack it in super tight, but that would make it so that if rubber does leak through here and into that void, I'm not wasting, you know, I'm trying to think how much rubber would, that's probably like $5 of rubber. So if it leaked under all of them, we're talking like $20 of, what do they call it? It's not slippage, spoilage? What is it called in retail business? The amount of stuff that ends up disappearing, whether through supply chain snafus or people stealing it from the store or it goes spoiling. There's a word for that. Wastage? I don't think that's it. Seepage? No, it's definitely not seepage. It does feel like it ends with an edge at the end. Edge. It's not pilferage because it's a category that it includes pilfering, but it is also just more mundane ways that your product doesn't actually get sold. Like when fruit goes bad, you know, that's not because anyone stole it, just went bad before it could get to the store, or went bad right after it got there, whatever. It probably also includes like returns, I would guess. Returns that can't be restocked and resold. Okay. Shrinkage. I got it. I'm almost sure it's shrinkage, which is hilarious because then that makes me think of Seinfeld, which only kids from the 90s will get that reference. There was shrinkage. Oh man, there's no way I'm getting to the pouring rubber state today. Dang it. I always have these grandiose plans and assumptions about what I will be able to accomplish in this hour and a half. I almost never do it. You'd think at some point I would learn and be like, maybe I should just plan for what I actually know I can do. I prepped so much. I did all the rolling and warming and crack filling. I did so many things and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. Yes, shrinkage with an H. Did it sound like I left out the H? Did I stutter? Or did my sniffly, nasally voice just make it unclear? Equally likely. Okay, so now I got this all nice and snugged up. I can go in and cut a really precise line, in theory. Okay. And if the clay cooperates, it just peels right off and leaves a super nice straight parting line. since this is an organic rock, I do have an opportunity to move this parting line around a bit in a way that can make it potentially a little less intrusive. Well, see, there's drawbacks. There's advantages and disadvantages to having a wiggly parting line. The disadvantage is that the fancier your parting line is, the longer it takes to sort of slice that seam out when there's a little bit of not seepage, not shrinkage. What is the word I'm looking for? When there's a little bit of material that seeps out of the cracks, that is called flashing. That's what it's called. And I don't feel bad at all about not remembering that word, because what a dumb word for that. Flashing. Pindrake got it. Look at that. That's 2 things you got right today. I told you, you're on a new trajectory. You're doing great. But the nice thing about having your parting line not be perfectly flat is that it creates all these nice little interlocking sections, so that you can have more confidence that your pieces are slotting together in a more secure way. Well, I don't know if you should quit. What time zone are you in? What time of the day is it? If it's like already 9 p.m., then sure. Call it quits. You did it. You made it to the end of the day. You finished strong. But if it's only like, 2 p.m. or something, then you should probably do more day. You kind of got to bite the bullet on that one. I'm trying to imagine in my mind's eye while I'm doing this is the like all the clay that I'm adding is going to be the rubber that hugs around the side, right? Because I'm going to pour rubber over this part first, and this clay will be the negative void from it after you pull it out. And so I'm imagining this as like locking into place. So I need to make sure that there's no sort of undercuts or places where it comes up over the front side of this. And it does look like we're at time. Don't be surprised if you come back next week and I'm doing the same thing, but I'll try to time it so that if I am, I'm on the next step and we get to see some actual rubber pouring. That's always a fun process. You can see it boiling in the vacuum chamber. But for now, let's call it. My name has been Josh. I have been a crafty creative. You could check out my socials at these links, and a YouTube video about, you know, making this kind of stuff. It'd be nice if you subscribe to Josh Foreman on YouTube. I'd appreciate that. I'm almost at 40,000 people, almost at 40,000 subs. I just need like 1,200 more or something. So if only one of you got 1,199 of your friends to subscribe, I'm set. All right. With that, I will bid you all adieu. Have a good one, folks.